Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
Conceive, believe, achieve. Shut the f*** up.
You're listening to Believe You Me with Michael the Count Bisping.
You know my name yet?
And Anthony Lionheart Smith.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back Monday afternoon. Anthony's at home with the bits and Bob. I'm not at home. I'm in a hotel, as usual. How you doing, brother?
I'm good. Just hanging out. The weather's nice. It's hotter and shit out, but it's a nice change of pace. So kids are in the pool.
You're at home, I take it?
Yeah, I'm at home. The kids are in the pool.
Obviously.
Yeah, kids are swimming in the pool and we're hanging out.
When you say the weather's nice, what are you talking? What kind of temperature?
I think it's 90.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah, it's nice.
Still kind of crappy in California, but still people didn't come here for the news or the weather. But I tell you what, when you do watch local news, all it is weather and traffic.
All of it.
That's all it is. If you have an iPhone, you don't need the weather. You can find out exactly what the weather is in your precise location on your iPhone, or if you're one of those weirdos that has an Android like Brian.
Weird-ass green bubbles. He ruins the whole group chat with his green bubbles.
How dare you people? And then also, but like if you have Waze, you don't need the traffic either.
No, you don't.
Or any kind of traffic app. That just shows typical TV is dying. Rebecca keeps talking about cancelling our direct TV because we just
did it last year.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that. We got to do it. I haven't bit the bullet yet. We've got everything. We've got the movies. We've got the sports. I don't even watch sports, but we're paying for it. She's like, Michael, it's like $270 a month. We're cancelling and going, what streaming app have you used?
We use Hulu Live.
Yeah,
it works really well. It's really, it's got everything I'd ever want. Do
you get the news with the traffic and the weather?
If you need it, it's on there. Yeah, the local stuff is on there. But we got little kids, so if you get that Disney Plus bundle, you get Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, and Hulu all in the same bundle.
Nice.
And then we got Netflix and,
all the usual stuff. We were going to get YouTube TV. Apparently there's loads on there. You know what? One of the things is that they always say about TV, or one of the most valuable entities in all of TV or whatever, is live sports. You know what I mean?
Right.
But the NFL, I think, it was kind of recently, a few months ago now, signed a massive deal with YouTube, something like, I don't know what it was, Brian, look it up, 30 billion or something like that. So soon, everything's going to be streaming. Simple as that. So I'm getting rid of it. Direct TV, you're gone.
Yeah, you're out of here. I was going to tell you, I had this real weird run-in with the Terminex guy today. He's not weird. He's a nice guy. Terminex is the company we use just like twice a year. They spray for bugs. They spray the outside. They come inside once a year.
How much do they charge for that?
I don't even know. My wife does it all. I have no idea.
Cockroaches, they've got to go, man.
I can't imagine it's that much. I mean, she doesn't ever. My wife is super cheap. Like, she is such a cheap ass, and I've never heard her complain about the price of that. So it shouldn't be too much. But he's a nice guy. It's the same guy that comes all the time, and he's never ever said anything like, "Hey, I know you're a fighter" or anything like that. But he'll just walk in and just start talking to me about fights, and he's never acknowledged that like he recognized me, but that's what he does. So today he comes in and he doesn't really say much about fighting. And, I'm sitting there and I'm eating lunch with the baby. It's just me and the baby.
What were you having for lunch with the baby?
Well, I'm getting there. So,
okay.
I'm sitting there eating lunch, and I'm not even realizing what this picture probably looks like. But I'm sitting at we have this bar off of our kitchen counters. I'm sitting at the bar. I have her high chair pulled up to the bar next to me, and he just looks at me and says, "Is this how all fighters deal with taking a loss?" And it kind of set me back a little bit. And then I had to take a look at the picture. I have Dr. Phil blaring loud on the TV in the living room. And that's why I'm sitting where I am, so I can see the TV. I got Dr. Phil blaring. Me and the baby are absolutely smashing McDonald's. I'm eating a double quarter pounder with cheese. She is double fisting chicken nuggets and taking one bite out of each one. Then we're eating fries, but I also really like Rolos, little caramel chocolate things.
Bro, they're English. I was raised on Rolos.
It was one of my favorite candies.
Yeah,
so
Rolos are awesome.
I'm alternating between French fries, and as I'm chewing the French fry, I'm opening up a Rolo swallow the fry, eat the Rolo, washing it down with like an orange Fanta soda, and then just rinse, wash, and repeat. So I probably look like the biggest, most American piece of shit in the world. And I was like, yeah, I guess that's how we do it. We eat French fries.
See, that's where I have the real issue, Anthony. That's where the only issue. Nothing else you said there. I couldn't care less what you do, what you eat, whatever. Chicken nuggets from McDonald's don't resemble chicken. If you put them in a DNA machine, there would be no chicken DNA. I don't know what it is. But going from savory to sweet,
that's my jam.
Then back to savory. You're out of your mind. I can't do it. I don't know what it is. When I eat food, I immediately the craving for something sweet is strong, and I have to go for it. But I can't then go back to savory.
You can't. When I'm driving long distances, I'll go sunflower seeds, then like Starburst, and then back to, and I'll go back and forth the whole drive. That's how I keep myself awake.
What category are you putting sunflower seeds in? What are you, a vegan? What are you, a squirrel?
No, I think those are
safe. Are you a man?
They're salty.
No wonder you're losing to Johnny Walker. You've got a diet of sunflower seeds, bro. What is going on?
Only when I'm driving. It's salty and sweet, salty and sweet. I just go back and forth. But I can imagine that picture, he's probably like, this guy's an elite level athlete. And there I am smashing McDonald's, eating Rolos in between bites of French fries, smashing a soda. I probably look like a big piece of shit.
Yeah, no. I think you'll find that, well, even on a cheat day or not on a cheat day, I think any level of athlete, they're allowed to enjoy, they're allowed to let their hair down, so to speak. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that lifestyle's hard to sustain full time.
Tell him to mind his own goddamn business and get back to crushing the cockroaches.
Yeah, get rid of the bugs, dude.
We try to have ours done because we do have a few little extra house members that aren't invited, talking of cockroaches, so Rebecca leaves the lights on in the kitchen every night, and it pisses me off because she says, no, they come out in the dark. Do you know what I mean? But they're still there. Keep the lights on. I'm like, lights don't stay on for free. And she's like, you're so cheap. I'm like, but still, come on. But we tried to get an exterminator around, but they wanted to empty all the cupboards, all the drawers in the house because they had to treat everything. And it was going to be like, it was in the several $1,000s mark. And I was like,
oh, wow.
I'm like, they went, oh, just for the first one. For the first one. Then what we'll do is after that, we'll sustain the treatments. And that'll be a lot cheaper. But the first one's going to be quite expensive. And I'm like, yeah, no, you're fine, thanks.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely not that much. I'll tell you that. And they come, they come like once in the, like when the weather changes, they come, and it's got to be pretty cheap. It's fast too.
Were we talking about this on here? I'm not sure. But whenever I call up to have something done at my house, right? The first thing they always say, what's your zip code, postcode for non-Americans? And I don't want to give it to them. I'm like, I just want a quote for the work. But they base the quote on your zip code because they want to figure out what kind of income you've got. Because if you live in a nicer area, then we can charge these people more. Right. I'm like, well, surely that doesn't matter. I just want to know what it would cost for this service. And now, well, first thing we need, sir, is your zip code.
Like,
Sons of bitches.
New motherfuckers. I've been having a hard time getting, now I'm just on a soapbox here, but the pool heater is like not working. And
jeez.
I can't get anybody. Like I called probably 10 pool companies today and like couldn't get anybody to answer the phone. And then I had to call my manager, and then my manager didn't answer. And then I was like, called my wife, and then my wife didn't answer. And I was like, what is happening? Like I was so pissed. Or like, then my manager calls me back. I'm like, oh, nice of you to call me back. Like then I just go off on her, like,
do you have a pool guy?
A goddamn phone all day.
Do you have a pool guy?
No, we ain't getting no goddamn pool guy. I like my marriage. Ain't no Sancho coming over here in his board shorts with his abs and tattoos out there just being sexy for my wife.
Well, our guy doesn't have abs and tattoos, and it sounds la-di-da, but he comes around once a week, throws a few chemicals in there, and anything like that, he fixes at an extra cost. But, talking of our pool guy, and, for the love of God, I hope he doesn't hear this. He was, but it's crazy because it changed, but he was probably the most rude, grumpy person you've ever seen in your life. Like, I knew he was rude, so I would just ignore him. I was like, whatever, he's here 20 minutes every Monday. You know what I mean? He comes by, he does a few things, whatever the hell he does. I'm like, whatever, Rebecca deals with it all. She pays him, cuts in the check, everything. But he was so rude. He wouldn't even respond to Rebecca. Sometimes Rebecca would talk to him, and he was just like, that rude. He was like the rudest bastard you could ever imagine. But you know what? He had a stroke. And he almost died, right?
Yeah.
And now he's the nicest guy on planet Earth, to the point where it's so annoying. He's a real chatty Cathy, right? He won't leave us alone. He won't leave Rebecca alone, not chatting her up, just like you're just being all pleasant and talkative. He leaves a dog treat for Harry every week, guaranteed. There's a little love heart dog biscuit on the thing. And it just goes to show, like, I mean, as I say, he was a grumpy son of a bitch, had a stroke. Maybe that caused him to reassess his life or whatever and stop being such a wanker, because he really was. But then something like that,
there's a lot of people like that. My uncle Todd, he comes to my fights, and I grew up on his farm my whole life, and he, back in the day when I was a kid, he was the toughest, just strictest, he was an asshole. And he was, he'd get pretty sauced up, and he'd be the guy in the bar fighting all the time when we were kids, like growing up. And then, a while back he got cancer, and, battled through that. And now you can't even reckon, like, my kids, when they see Uncle Todd and they're running, he's kissing them all on the foreheads, and they ask for anything. It's no question. He's getting it. He's calling. Yeah. He don't even give a shit about talking to me. He wants to talk to the kids. He's the same way with his grandkids and his own. Like, I don't know who this guy is, but that is not the man I grew up with. But he just has like a new lease on life.
I think from that, what you can take away, though, is, obviously somebody like you mentioned, and the pool guy, and I'm sure there's a lot of other examples that people can think of about this type of thing. You take life for granted. And then when you almost have it taken away, you suddenly get a new perspective, and you think, holy crap, I was almost gone. Let's enjoy. Life's a blessing. I know that sounds cheesy, but it really is. You know what I mean? When you see the misery that surrounds us each and every goddamn day, and then you think, wow, I almost lost my life. Why am I going through the one and only life we get with a frown on my face, being a negative prick? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because
Mark Montoya's got the same thing going on right now. Me and him, we would battle in about. I'm kind of a late kind of guy. I'm targeted everywhere.
Do you mind if I just say, because for those that don't know, Mark Montoya, because it was mentioned on the UFC broadcast, he's recovering from cancer, correct?
Yeah, he had a
and that's your coach at Factory X, for those that don't know.
Yeah, he had a cancerous tumor on his kidney. So they ended up just removing his whole kidney. He was in the hospital for a long time leading up to that with a bad. They only found it because he actually had staph infection in his leg, and like was having a really bad like blood staph infection in his leg, and they were cutting pieces of it out. And then they just were doing an ultrasound, and they just happened to graze across his kidney. And they're like, oh, that was weird, and went back. So he got lucky that he had staph. But long story short, me and him we would bang heads a lot about, just little shit, kind of just very similar to father and son type of shit,
Yep.
And then, he went through this whole cancer thing, and he's a little more laid back. He's a little more tolerant of my bullshit. A little more. I mean, he's still pretty tough on me, but he's a little more tolerant. So it's weird, like, it's too bad that sometimes people have to go through that to maybe sometimes just get a little bit of a little change in attitude. Yeah, some perspective. Yeah.
All the world is but a stage. I don't know the next bit. And all the men and women are merely players. Shakespeare, baby. I'm quoting Shakespeare at you right now.
I was like, is this another movie?
No, it's not a movie. It's Shakespeare, brother. I studied the finer arts. No, what is it? Well, the point I'm making is this is not a rehearsal. This is not a rehearsal, and I know a lot of people believe in heaven and an afterlife and all the rest of it. But don't bank on that.
You see Nate Marquardt today?
Oh no, what's that? The crazy Bible guy. What's he saying?
Yeah, Nate Marquardt started a podcast recently, and I haven't watched any of it, but I can imagine it's very faith driven.
Yeah, of course.
And he put out a challenge to Joe Rogan to have someone that can defend Christianity on his podcast, and the comments are pretty much what you can expect on Twitter.
Yeah. Well,
you ever train with Nate?
I didn't know. I had many a verbal run-in with him, though. Not in person, though. All over the internet.
He whooped my ass one time. Not quite that long ago. Probably 2018, 2019. He was training in Denver. He was still fighting. I don't even know where he was fighting, but I was like, oh, this is Nate Marquardt. He's kind of an older guy, and this would be a fun sparring session. He kind of beat the shit out of me. He's pretty good. He's got style.
He was a great fighter. He was a great. In fact, I asked to fight him a couple of times, but we never got matched up. The thing that always bothered me about him is that, listen, he gets on his soapbox and he lectures people whilst testing positive for steroids on multiple occasions. I'm like, come on, bro. He said once that I was bad for the sport, and then he tested positive, and I'm like, dude, come on. What are you talking about? And then every time he loses a fight, and again, I'm not knocking anyone's belief in Christianity or whatever religion you're a fan of or you believe in. Every time he would lose a fight, it was the old cop out. It's not God's plan. It's not God's plan. And that really bothers me. Do you know what it's like? Yeah. We're all responsible for our own wherever we go in life, whatever kind of
what's free will, right?
We're not always responsible. You know what I mean? Sometimes shit happens to us that we're not responsible for. Sometimes you might be a victim of something. But if you're stepping into an octagon, the God is not looking down and predetermining who wins and loses. And if he loses, it's all part of God's plan. And I was here too. He was teaching me a lesson in humility. Okay,
I wish he'd stop teaching me lessons.
Yeah, I wish he'd teach
I don't need any more lessons.
I need a lesson or two.
I'm full up on lessons, Mike.
No, we don't need a video of Nate, Brian, but thank you very much. All right, today's episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Look, listen, mental health has never had a bigger focus on it than what it does right now. But if you heard my story about my friend Will from the gas station last week, then, this is an area of life that really hit home for me recently. Sadly, I found out the man was very, very depressed. And if only could have talked to somebody, if only we could all talk to somebody and get things off our chest and speak to a licensed professional, it will really help us out. And that's what BetterHelp offers, okay? This is professional counseling done securely online. Listen, we think it's cliched. We think it's embarrassing. There's nothing wrong with it. You got to take control of your mental health. Okay. If you're thinking of starting therapy, then give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, suited to your schedule. You just fill out a quick, brief questionnaire. You get matched with a licensed professional therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time, by the way, with no additional charge. Okay. So it's super convenient. It's super cheap, and it is super helpful. Okay. So whatever it is that's holding you back, become the best version of you. Get rid of that anxiety, that worry, that stress, that anger, that addiction. We've all got something, and there's no shame in admitting that. In fact, admitting that is strength, and I really do mean that. So if anyone's listening to this right now and you feel like you need to take care of yourself better mentally, you need to take charge of your mental health, you need to finally get over the hump of whatever issue it is in your life, go to betterhelp.com/believe today to get 10% off your first month. Listen, you're not going to regret this. I don't think anyone out there ever has gone, you know what I really regret? Trying to take better care of my mental health. Do you know what I really regret? Doing it the safe, quick, easy, convenient, and cheaper way. I really regret that. No one ever said that. So right now, go to betterhelp.com/believe. You'll get 10% off your first month. But more importantly, you're going to be on the road to recovery. And that really is what's important. The road to being a better you, to being a healthier minded you. Not waking up riddled with anxiety and regret and sorrow and sadness and depression. Try and get that stuff in order, man. I really do wish you the best of luck. Go to betterhelp.com/believe to get 10% off your first month. Should we talk about some fights that happened at the weekend?
Yeah.
There was some good stuff. I mean, Mackenzie Dern in that main event, absolutely phenomenal. Listen, excuse me. And by the way, everyone's saying Bisping, blow your nose. My nose is just completely blocked all the time. Yeah. All the time.
I mute myself all the time when I do it. So I'm sure people see me do it, but don't hear it. It's because I have to I just grab my mouse.
Oh, I've got to start muting.
Yeah, I just mute it. It's tough. It's tough with the laptop. It's really tough for the laptop, but I have this mouse that's right in my hand.
Pledge allegiance to the believers that from now on going forward, I will do this. Untappy tap tap. Right. So I will do that. What was I saying? Oh, Angela Hill.
Mackenzie Dern.
And Mackenzie Dern.
Yeah.
Listen, there's not anyone out there that I don't think doesn't appreciate Angela Hill. She's a sweetheart of a girl. She really is. She's like, she's a real one. She's has a very, very frequent fight schedule. She'll step in on short notice. She'll bring it. You know what I mean? She's got great striking. Saturday night, and I don't like to say this because it's almost an insult, she really impressed me with the beating that she took and the way she stayed in there and was able to see the final bell because Mackenzie Dern came out of there like a bat out of hell. We touched on it a little bit in the I mentioned it very, very briefly on the on the call. I didn't want to get too in depth with it because it's personal, but she's going through a divorce, you know, so obviously not the best time in her life. But as I said, I didn't want to make that the focal point, but it's relevant. And she had some struggles with Cam because Perillo was in Colorado with Rockhold. So she came out there and she fought like Angela Hill. I don't know. Cliches took her lunch money, but like she was a sworn enemy. That looked like it was a personal beatdown.
That was personal. Yeah, that's what it looked like. Yeah, I don't think that makes a lot of sense. Now you kind of, I guess I never thought about with Perillo being with Rockhold in Denver, and then some of the personal stuff maybe she's going through. She didn't. She looked phenomenal. She is ultra aggressive. She is so aggressive and just nasty. Everything she does is with bad intentions. It didn't necessarily show a whole lot of growth, but it's tough to do that maybe when you got a bunch of personal problems and you got some, one of your main coaches isn't around, which is where she needs the most work is in her striking. So she's very blessed to have a great chin, incredible power just naturally, and just her ability to know that no one's like, she knows no one's shooting takedowns on her. So you don't have to worry about your overextending on punches because Angela Hill is a fantastic striker, not necessarily super powerful. So she took, she can throw huge bombs and rush and get overextended because everyone's worried about her, overhand into a takedown or right hand into a takedown. She's going to have to develop that a little bit and refine that striking in her entries a little bit. But I think,
wouldn't that be a nice feeling to be able to just swing and throw and just not care if anyone took you down?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I want you to take me down. Please.
Yeah, please make my job easier.
Yeah.
Angela Hill did. You're right there though. I don't typically mention people's just toughness and ability to survive, but I left that with a kind of feeling bad for Angela because I know how bad she wanted that and how hard she worked on her wrestling and trying to, but I think her jiu-jitsu work really showed. She spent a lot of time in grappling exchanges in really bad spots with Mackenzie Dern, and to survive those, she was deep in 2 arm bars.
But I was just going to mention that because that's what really impressed me. I think it was even round 5 was one of the arm bars or the end of round 4, regardless. It was a tough night at the office. She took a lot of damage. Remember that knee flush to the mush? Right. Flush to the mush. We got the T-shirts coming, guys. Flush to the mush, though, and she took it. She took a lot of heavy shots. She took a lot of ground and pound, and the venom of which Mackenzie Dern was hitting her with was just insane. But then to be that deep in an armbar, right? And you're getting such a hiding, she could have just let the armbar go.
Yeah.
And then tap. And then it's all over. But no, she fought tooth and nail to stay in that fight, knowing that I'm going to win on the judges' scorecards. I'm going to try and get a finish. And yes, she didn't get the finish, but that was the plan, to try and come back. Do you know what I mean? And that I will have endless respect forever. Do you know what I mean? Because people don't know how hard that is. And you can at any point just kind of curl up in the ball. Because there was times where Mackenzie was hitting her with elbows and, a lot of shots, being super aggressive. All you got to do at any time, you could just decide to go in a defensive shell, take 3 or 4 unanswered blows, and a good referee will stop the fight. That's all you got to do, and there's no shame.
Yeah, you can actively quit. You can actively quit, and no one will know.
And you're not quitting. Well, it won't look like you quit because people think, "Oh, she's hurt. She's covering up." You know what I mean?
No one will know. You can just let that grip break.
Yeah,
and tap before it even gets extended. You're like, "Oh, she got submitted," and no one will know that you want it out.
So well done to Mackenzie Dern. She said she wants to fight Rose Namajunas next. That's a great call. I'm not sure what's going on with Rose. I know she's out there having the old, and I'd like to hear Brian's take on this, even though people give me shit for not taking his conspiracy theories serious. But she's out there. She's all about the, what is it? the chemtrails. I just saw a post. I saw a post from Rose yesterday going, "What is these?" And it was alluding to chemtrails in the air. I think they're called clouds. But
Might have heard of them.
They're controlling the population with gases.
I don't have an opinion on this.
Come on, Eddie Bravo, eat your fucking heart
we
out.
know you're a lion. Get
You're
out.
a
Get in
liar,
here.
Brian.
You're a lion.
You're a liar.
Can't the government do something to like control the weather, Brian, with some sort of?
Don't. Come on.
Well, I mean, it's no secret you can make it rain. Like they do it in the Arab Emirates all the time. You can cloud seed and make it rain. I can't imagine why that wouldn't also be functional to put something other than just water in the air, but it's not something that I necessarily subscribe to.
No, they are, and the Earth is flat. Harrington, come on, you had your little pinky finger up in the air. I want to know what the pinky finger.
Hold on a minute.
What were you going to say? What were you going to say, bro?
China is working on a way to what?
Back off from the microphone.
Oh, sorry.
Please.
That's just the thing I know from working in this industry for so long. China is actively trying to like mass produce that, where they'll be able to control weather in their entire country, and that'll help like control crop rotation and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm sure it's called using science to your benefit. I don't think.
Yeah, they do it in Dubai.
Yeah, I don't think they're trying to control.
They should do that in Nebraska.
We're such sheep, Anthony. We should know. We're sheep. We're sheep. Did you not know the Earth is flat?
No, I had no idea.
Bro, it is. There's a lot of conspiracy believers on here. They are.
We should get Bryce Mitchell, and Eddie Bravo. We should get on here at the same time.
I asked Rebecca's brother, Daniel, is a pilot. Right?
Yeah.
And I was with him in Australia recently. And I asked him, I said, you know, these flat earthers, obviously being a pilot and flown 40,000 feet above the earth many times. I said, what would your rebuttal be to someone that says that the earth is flat? He says, well, because I've seen it. He said, when you go up, you can literally see the curvation of the globe. Do you know what I mean? You can see it. And the one I always say is that, well, if you went in a straight line, you just fly off the end of the surface and you carry on into space. You wouldn't come back to the same part where you started. You know what I mean?
I mean, that seems like that would be the easiest. Like, there's been several people that like hold records for like flying completely around the world. How do you do that if the world is flat? It doesn't make any sense.
It's insane.
No, they just went there and they turned around and came back and didn't tell anybody.
It's bullshit, bro. It was a lie. It was all a conspiracy. Anyway, we won't get into all that stuff because we've got lots and lots more to talk about. Do you know what? We're going to get to the core main event in just a second, but I was just checking into this hotel where I'm at because here for the fights on Saturday, Power Slap on Wednesday, just had the fighter meetings.
Is it live? Is it live?
It's live.
Fuck yeah.
Power Slap's live. One of the contestants, Cole Young, I think it was Cole Young. Let me just double check. He was going on about you.
What did he say?
Young. He said, where's Anthony Smith here going to be a catcher? I know Anthony Smith wants to be a catcher. I want Anthony Smith here too as well.
That is awesome. Was Zach there?
Zach was out the room. Zach was out there. I said, Zach's the guy you got to speak to, not me, or maybe even Dana. Anyway, so I'm here for Power Slap, so I'm here for a few days, hence the different surroundings. I was just checking into the hotel before. And as you do, because there was a long line, I messaged you all. We're going to be a little bit late. Checked my DMs on Twitter because I just had a little notification. I had one. Looked at it. Jake Paul.
On Twitter. He's on Twitter now.
He's on the Twitter DMs. I don't know what promoted this or what's the word I'm looking for? You know, I don't know what spawned. Prompted. There we go. How do Dana's nuts taste?
What'd you do?
I don't know. I mean, we've had our back and forth on Twitter many times, but like, you know, we were kind of cordial last time, and then he was trying to get me to join a fighters association and stuff. So I just kind of backed away from the conversation politely. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And he goes, "Oh, you went dark. No interest in helping fighters." I thought, I'm not having this conversation. And then today, how did Dana's nuts taste? I said, how did Tommy Fury's amateur uppercut taste? And then I was like, that was the worst comeback ever. It was terrible.
That's pretty good. Did he respond?
I should have thought about it. No, not yet. I don't know what prompted that, but still, you go.
Never get. Oh, you know what? I almost messaged Dylan Dennis the other day, but I was like, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to send him a DM, and then he's going to talk trash, and all he's going to do is piss me off, and he's just going to be messing around.
He wants to come on the show.
You fucking bring him. I got a bone to pick with him.
What's the bone you want to pick? The femur?
Well, after my the first one I can get to.
Tibia?
Yeah. No, I'll take his skull. I would take that one.
It's the best bone.
It's the best one. That's what I want.
I want to take the skull.
I just don't like. Again, it goes back. I'm in a much better place, but I was bummed out after my fight, and I'm just scrolling, and people keep tagging me in something. And I was like, "What is this?" And I look at it, and it's Dylan Dennis on like 3 posts talking shit about me. Like, oh, I would smoke that guy in one, and he sucks. He needs to retire. I'm like, oh, and I started to type out a message to Dylan, like a pretty much threat, like something I could get charged for sure. And I was like, you know what? All this is gonna do is piss me off because he's just being antagonistic, and I'll just give him exactly what he wants. But I was pissed.
Well, I've quoted this movie several times, but we're going to try it again. Harness the good energy, block the bad. Harness the good energy, block the bad. It's like a carousel. You put your quarter in. What is that?
Damn it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy Gilmore. Happy Gilmore. Come on, bro. Yeah. Don't waste your time with him. Let it go. The negativity.
Well, I'm gonna waste my time for sure, but I'll do it in person.
I know. Isn't it weird how that happens? Like the negative comments get you. You're like, I'm gonna.
It's because he's such a troll, and like, I don't know, whatever.
Anyway, let's get back to some of these fights. We're going to focus on a few of the big wins at the weekend, then we'll move on with all the MMA news, and we'll even hear a non-MMA story from Harrington if there's a decent one. Anthony Hernandez got the job done in round 3 with a TKO against Edmund Shabazian. Shabazian started off, he looked fantastic. He looked really good. Gassed really quickly. That takes away from...
That's kind of his thing, right?
He seems to be. But Fluffy Hernandez, 4 fights now, 2 stoppages in a row. A 4-fight win streak, sorry. Improving every time. Keep an eye out for that name. I think he's going to do big things.
I do too. He's been in some. He's overcome some adversity in a couple of those as well, which I think that helps you grow a lot too, because you can take all the lessons from a loss without actually having to take the loss. So I think he's getting a lot of experience. He looks more comfortable. He's got a hell of a chin, and just
great jiu-jitsu.
Great jiu-jitsu and he's got a submission win over
Rodolfo
Vieira. I mean, he's a real deal. I do feel for Edmund a little bit though, because the kid's got all the skills and abilities.
I have to interrupt you really quick.
Why?
Because we just got a notification in the chat about Harrington.
What happened?
He's going to leave in 4 minutes. If we're going to get any chance of abusing Harrington today, we've got to do it now.
It's going to do it right now.
Harrington, come on, brother, jump on the show.
Why always just messing everything up, dude?
No, to be fair, we started.
Oh, look. He's hooking his microphone back up because he's leaving.
Oh, shit, because he was leaving. Oh, God, I feel bad now. No, to be fair, we did start late today. And he did say he's got to leave at a certain time because he's got something else to do. So totally get it, Harrington. Do you want to just throw one story at us quick, buddy, before you get out of here? Because you're a valuable part of the show.
I appreciate it. Real quick. This I've been getting tagged in this left and right. The guys want to hear you talking about this. TikToker Mizzy. He's been running amok in England. There was a video of him walking into a random person's home. There's another video came out over the weekend of him ripping up library books. The one that I put in the notes here, he stole someone's dog out of the park for clout.
Hello.
Hi.
You got a nice dog?
Sorry?
You got a nice dog?
She's lovely. She's, yes. Family dog. Don't run away.
Being gang, whole lot of gangs. You're outside.
And he's walking into people's homes as well. Apparently, I saw this on the news the other day. Apparently, he's not the only one. There's videos of several people because in the UK we don't have guns. If they tried that in the States, I'm sure that'd be a bad idea. Bad idea. The people just walking in, sitting on the couches, going through shit in the house, as Harrington said, ripping up books in their house. If we have another video, I'd love to see it. But I tell you what, Mizzy and anyone else that's doing that shit, you need to get your shit together, because I tell you what, you are not only cruising for a bruising, shall we say.
Mm-hmm.
But you're just a dick.
Yeah.
There's
Well, you're
nothing
putting
funny
yourself
about
in some
that.
really precarious situations as well. Like, you'd be safer to walk into my house than take my dog, probably. Like, you walk up and just grab someone's dog, like,
Let's go.
Oh,
no way.
and that's a nice house.
James, come to the front door right now, please.
James. James. You man, come. Hello, James. We need to speak to James. James.
Little pricks.
James. Is this where the study group is?
No.
What a bunch of assholes.
Bullies. And then look at them just walking around his house.
No way.
Look, and then sitting down on his couch.
Oh, no.
You got kids, man. Oh, you got kids? Oh, sorry. Oh, I thought this was a study group. I actually thought.
I tell you what, that really, really makes my blood boil.
Yeah, that pisses me off, too.
That makes my blood boil.
There's kids in that
little
house.
Shit. There's kids in the house. They think they're young. Bad man, as they say in that part of the world. In fact, Brian, before we went live, had a nice little impression. Come on, Brian, hit me with your rhythm stick, please.
Whoa, I don't even remember what I said. It was just kind of what
Just
did I
walking
say?
into people's houses, bruv.
Oh yeah, I was like, oh come on, bruv, I'm just here for dinner.
Come on, bruv. That makes my blood boil on so many levels.
Yeah.
That's just bullying.
I would just freak out too. I would just. They've been pretty lucky apparently because most. I don't know. You feel like a lot of people just lose their shit.
You don't do that. You don't walk into somebody's home. No. That's their home, especially when they have goddamn children. That's a line that you don't.
Well, that messes
cross.
with people. Don't understand, like especially with even with my break-in that happened here. Like it still messes with my kids. Like they're still. I'm like. That can definitely cause like lasting effects for sure, especially for kids.
Without question, psychological trauma for sure. And this is I said, oh, you got such a privileged life. It's not an unheard of thing in the States or elsewhere around the world, but we live in a gated, guarded community. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Rebecca always says, because I want to move, because it's a little bit on the boring, quiet side. She's like, I don't think I could live in another area that wasn't on a guarded community. Because now she just got so used to it. We've been there for 12 years. She's like, I just feel so weird that a random person on the street can just come up and knock on the door. Or in this example, if you don't have it locked, just walk in and sit on your couch and mock you in front of your children and just making light of the whole situation. I mean, that is, I tell you what, if somebody well, we know what they do in your house. I would I'd beat the shit out of the guy.
Yeah, he'd be fighting. At a minimum. We're fighting.
He'd definitely get one punch for sure.
For sure. 100%.
Yeah.
Gated community. You know that
well, what about it? There's lots of places with them.
We have so Alex Hernandez trains at Factory X, obviously Cody Brundage. I talk about him a lot, but they're kind of outside the norm of a lot of fighters,
Alexander Hernandez, who we were just speaking about.
No. Who? What did it?
Fluffy.
No, isn't it? What's his first name?
Alexander.
Are you sure?
Anthony.
His
Anthony
name's
Hernandez.
Anthony. Yeah, I'm talking about Alex Hernandez, the 55er.
Sorry, my bad.
He like they just don't come from the, they're not like come from street. They're not street kids.
They're fancy posh with silver spoon types.
They're gated community gangsters.
Oh.
So Alex is the Texas chapter. Cody Brundage is the South Carolina chapter. And now Michael Bisping is the California chapter.
I'm the chief. It's like, you're
the president.
What gang are you in? You're in the Hells Angels? No, bro. Gated community gangsters. We're going to get a t-shirt of that one.
I was laughing my ass off when I heard them say it the first time. It was so funny.
Oh, they said it? Like making
They
fun
said
of
it. Yeah, they just making fun of themselves.
Okay, that is a good one. You know what was funny? Last week when you had the hoodie on, someone said, you look like E.T. when he's on the front of the bike. You look like E.T. with the hood up. I'm like, we're going to get a t-shirt of me riding the bike and you on the front.
Me on the front.
As E.T. That would be goddamn hilarious. Anyway, I'm assuming Harrington's left. Right, Brian?
He sure did.
He sure did. So shame on him. All right, let's talk about HTLT supplements really quick. Listen, HTLT supplements, they have been very kind to provide me with some of them. And I got to say, they're very, very good. I love them. Right? The protein powder tastes amazing. The pre-workout is fantastic. The shred has me losing weight like a goddamn maniac, okay? But listen, you haven't got to be an athlete to take advantage of these, these supplements, right? Science-backed human trials have shown clear benefits for sleep, mood, energy, performance, well-being, and weight loss. So whether or not you are an amateur athlete, a professional athlete, or just a regular Joe that wants to be a better version of himself, then you got to try out these supplements because I have them. They're fantastic. As I say, high quality, science-backed, human trials, okay? They have done their homework to bring you the best products available on the market at a great price. And when you go to htltsubs.com, when you use the code Bisping, you will therefore get a further 10% off. So whatever it is that you're looking for, HCL subs have you covered. As I say, they will improve sleep, mood, energy, performance, well-being, weight loss, give you energy for the workout, give you the protein boost for the recovery, and do it all while tasting delicious. And you can support them and support the podcast. Go to htltsubs.com. Check out everything from the pre-workout, the proteins, and the supplements, and use the code Bisping to get 10% off. Once more, htltsubs.com. Code is Bisping for 10% off. Joaquin Buckley, Andre Fiallo. I mean, we had a good few knockouts. We had Vyacheslav Borshov, took Marshate out. That was a beautiful knockout.
Slava Claus.
Then we had Diego Ferreira knocking out Michael Johnson. That was a brutal knockout.
Yeah, he was out a long time, seemingly.
A long time.
Yeah, I like Michael Johnson too.
How can you not?
Yeah,
how can you not, man?
I like Diego too, though. So
how can you not?
It's two good dudes, two powerful dudes. Does Diego look different?
I don't know.
I don't know if it was his hair or he just looks like a different person a little bit. It's weird.
Michael Johnson.
Knockout.
13 years in the UFC. He was very open. I think maybe this time last year or whatever. I think he was on a 3-5 win streak going into Saturday night. Before that, I think it was 4 in a row, which he lost. And he talked about the tough times, the down times, the financial hardship, losing fake friends. Obviously, when you're on top of the world, everybody wants to be your buddy and all the rest of it. And then you're losing 4, people not returning your calls. So he was very, very honest. And he was in such a positive place coming into that one. But that's the sport. Them's the breaks, but it was a bad knockout. He was out cold and like stiff.
Yeah.
They're always the ones that are hard to see when they're really stiff.
Yeah. Yeah. When, the camera was following Diego and it every once in a while would pan by Michael and you could still see his feet, like his toes were still like curled. And I was like, oh, he's been out for a while. Like posturing for a long time.
It's hard to watch, man. It really is. And then after that, Joaquin Buckley knocked out Andre Fiallo, head kick in round 2. Fiallo's been that knockout there. That was brutal. It was a beautiful right hook by Diego, though. Carlos Diego Ferreira, congratulations. You can't commiserate one and not congratulate the other.
Right. It's incredible shot.
It really was. Karolina Kowalkiewicz got back to winning ways. Gilbert Urbina did. Rodrigo Nascimento got the split decision against Ilir Latifi. And Themba Gorimbo got his first win against Takashi Sato. So, what do you want to talk about? McGregor seems to be back. The paperwork is in order. 6 months and the clock should be ticking. Dana confirmed it. I saw that McGregor had some kind of media day at his pub in Ireland. Last week.
Ariel was there.
Yeah, Ariel was there, and Eddie Hearn was there. There's a few people because they had the big fight in Ireland with Katie Taylor. I never got to see it, obviously. I was commentating the fight. But he's going to be coming back. He said that's all underway. 6 months. What do you think? What are your thoughts?
I think I want to go eat at his restaurant, but I don't think I'd probably be welcome.
I don't think I
see all the videos and stuff, and it looks like a really cool place to hang out. Like every time I see it, I always think, man, I'd love to go have a beer there and eat a meal and just check it all out. But I don't think I'd probably be too welcome at the Black Forge. That was called.
Yeah. the Black Forest, but we're not here to commercialize it and give advertisements for free.
That's true. That's true. I don't know why we did that.
Whoa, what are you doing?
Well, if Connor wants to, he can pay us for an advertisement. He can fly us over to Ireland, put us up, get us a meal, and then we can all talk all the shit we want, right? And we can have your issues or whatever. But the sport of MMA is a better place with Conor McGregor a part of it, regardless of what you think of him. He brings excitement like no other. I don't even have a problem. I think what happens sometimes with some of these bigger names and your Connors, your John Joneses, and guys like that is they forget that they're just regular people. So guys like you and me talk about them like they're regular people. So it's okay. I mean, me and you have had conversations where like, oh no, I disagree with that, Mike, or what, and we don't take it personal. I don't have a problem with Connor or most of the things that he's done or his career or any of that stuff. But every once in a while you're like, I don't really agree with that. I think that kind of sucks. Or I think that's not very cool. But that doesn't mean that I'm trashing Connor. It just means that one individual thing I'm not necessarily cool with or down with or agree with or whatever. I'm not on board. Same with John. I don't know John, but he gets so pissed if I say something negative.
Well,
I say a billion things about you guys, how great you are, and I don't ever get a fucking thanks for it. But the second I say something that you don't like, then it's all I'm the biggest piece of shit and I don't know what I'm talking about. Well, if I don't know what I'm talking about, then I'll stop saying good shit about you.
Well, it's because of these websites. I mean, I'm trying to think, bloody hell, if I just Google my name right fast like a total narcissistic prick, right?
Oh, it's going to be something you said that's taken out of context.
Yeah, no, for sure. It happened a lot. It happened a lot last week, and it happens all the time. You know what I mean? And the clickbait websites want to get their clicks, so they take it out of context. They give a not 100% accurate headline. You know what I mean? And they leave, and often people like McGregor, Mick Jones, or anyone for that matter. They might see that headline. They don't waste their time reading the whole thing. They don't then go and fact check it with the source material. Do you know what I mean? They just think me and you are getting on our soapbox and talking shit and trashing their careers or whatever. And maybe sometimes we are because we have to give an honest opinion. But generally, I don't think I do as a person too much. You know what I mean? I talk about their sports, their performances, how they did. Sometimes there's issues that you may or may not like, but that's generally what it is. And human beings are sensitive, and fighters are the most sensitive out of them all.
Myself included.
Isn't that and myself included? Isn't it weird? You would think that fighters would be the toughest, and the most thick-skinned. We are literally amongst the most sensitive.
Emotionally, we're the biggest pussies.
Yeah, no, for sure, we really are.
God damn, you're popular over there, just dinging away.
Well, because I just took my phone off the Wi-Fi. My thing just came up. Bisping. I Googled myself. Just trying to. There was some stuff last week, but all that is coming up. It's everywhere. Oh, look. Oh, no. This was it. This was on the podcast. Michael Bisping. McGregor needs to get off the good stuff, right? It was a very passing comment. We were talking about. It was
very passing, and I seen that one, and it was a long conversation.
It was a long conversation. I'm like, he just needs to get off the good stuff and get back on the porridge and the protein shakes. And was not going down that route, was not talking shit, was not accusing him of the steroids. He's out the testing pool for crying out loud. Everyone knows. But that was what they went with. But anyway, but now what everyone's going with is it's everywhere. Michael Bisping chokes unconscious Steve-O. Did you see this?
I did see it, yeah.
Brian, if you can pull up a little clip, I think MMA Mania have one or whatever.
How was that?
Well, I'm commentating and we finish, and Steve-O comes over. And Steve-O's great. He's been a massive fan of the UFC for years. Do you know Steve-O? Have you met him?
No, I've never met Steve-O.
Oh, he's great. He's great. Such a good dude. And then he just says, "Hey, Mike, me and Steve from the Nelk Boys, we're going to get choked out. Do you want to do one of us? Marvin's going to choke out Steve. We'll do it. Do you want to do me?" I'm like, Hold on. I'm like,
yes.
Are you sure? I'm like, yeah, as long as we can film it for YouTube. So yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But I was really concerned because Brian, if you play the tape now, I was really, hold on. It takes a big breath.
Which makes it take longer.
Which made me look like I have no chokes. Hold on.
Oh yeah, he's out.
Yo, that was okay. You okay?
Oh, you look nervous.
I was terrified.
You look like 2 or 3 seconds there. You were like, oh, I killed him.
Because he didn't respond for a bit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when I was choking him out, I could have swore I heard. I was like, he's an older dude. Steve O's awesome. I don't know. Maybe he's got a frail neck. All the years of stunting has caught up with him. Do you know what I mean? I'm like,
Yeah.
Tell me, for the love of God, I didn't just break his neck.
Yeah, on camera.
On camera. Oh, there was loads of other cameras watching it as well. Because Steve from the Note Boys came around like that, and he came around pretty quick as well. But there was a couple of seconds there where I shit my pants. And I also drooled on him as well.
Oh, did you?
I drilled at him because I was so panicked and saliva starts coming out of my mouth. Oh, God. He's a great guy, though.
I would love to hang out with Steve, or at least meet him. I don't know. He probably don't want to hang out with me, but.
No, he's great, man. He's great. He's sober these days, though. But still, there we go. Right. So Harrington's done a terrible job of the news. Of the notes, shall we say?
Stupid ass notes that Harrington.
So what have we got going on in MMA? He says Tatiana Suarez is back at 115 against Vima Jandiroba. Fantastic, very happy for her. Yeah. Apparently a crappy win at the weekend, a crappy scorecard between Lomachenko and Daney. I didn't see that fight. Did you watch it?
Yeah, I did. I did watch it. Sorry, I'm just taking a look at these notes. Yeah, it was not great. It was not great. All the rounds are pretty competitive. For anyone that watched it, I don't think anyone would disagree, but they were competitive. But I thought it was pretty clear to me. I thought Lomachenko won, but boxing is like, even though I was in my mind said, oh yeah, Lomachenko definitely won that fight, I still thought, who knows though? It's boxing. You have no idea.
Isn't that awful though? That you have to factor that into the equation. That's such a sport, a great, magnificent, and dangerous sport like boxing that is so established throughout hundreds of years that when you're waiting for the result, you have to factor into the equation. Yeah, but it's boxing. Yeah. So you never know.
Yeah. Like it could be a clear, unanimous decision one way. Now, maybe there wouldn't be one round that would be contested, and you still don't know for sure.
I never saw it, of course, but so it was kind of close then, you said?
It was competitive for sure. It was very, very competitive. There was only a few rounds I thought that were clear. So I wouldn't say that it was a robbery, but I had Lomachenko winning.
The feedback that I saw online on Twitter and things like that was that Lomachenko got robbed. Brian just says in the note said that they're going to contest the decision, put an appeal in. That's very, very hard. What have we got here? Is this the press conference? Let's have a look.
It is. This is the biggest robbery in the middle of the day. For our team, Christmas came in the summer, and we're not going to let it go. I guarantee we're going to protest. I guarantee we're going to appeal that decision because somebody...
Just pause it real quick, Brian. Just go back and pause it. Show me the image, though. Look. So just leave it there. It's fine, whatever. Because it doesn't matter. Because what I'm about to say, the look on that chick's face in the background with the brunette, with the brown hair, and the big cheesy grin. You know what I mean? Like he's giving serious news. Do you know what I mean? He's talking about complaining.
She has no idea what they're saying.
She has no idea. Yeah, like, this is
she's not listening to anything.
Just bring the smile down a notch.
Yeah, just turn it. And this girl over on the far right, she has no idea what's happening at all.
The blonde chick?
No, the dark-haired chick on the far right.
The African-American chick?
The black chick, yeah.
The black chick. I know, but you're the one. That's right, yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to be proper here. But yeah, the black chick, she was just like, I'm sick of this shit. Sick of this.
Yeah, well, anyway.
I wouldn't say it's a robbery.
Really?
I think they got the decision wrong. But
all right. Well, Lomachenko, what a legend he is. So, speaking of boxing, Katie Taylor lost the title. I didn't see it either. I didn't see that either.
Yeah, I didn't watch it.
Algernon O'Malley this is according to Harrington. And I did see some talk about this from Dana. I said Aljo and O'Malley can't get on the same page for a date. Dana says that this is expecting to go forward at UFC 292 in boxing. Sterling now says that he'd be happy to go in July. I saw a little story or a post from Aljo saying, hey, let's see if you're made from that or about that life. O'Malley said, I'm not.
He said, I ain't.
I ain't. Let's go. And then Dana, meanwhile, said that he's already getting calls from Henry Cejudo to fill in for Aljo if needed. What do you think Aljo's doing there?
Being a nuisance.
Just making headlines.
Yeah, he's just bothering people. That's what he does best, and it's working for him. You know what I mean? It's the Aljo way. He's just being difficult, which I think is okay. No, I think it's great. Hold on, I'm going to show you something here. Where is it? O'Malley, this is not O'Malley. What am I saying? O'Malley. Hold on. Where is it? Hold on. Merab Davalishvili. Merab, you are the ultimate troll. I just took a picture. Oh, that's amazing. Right? It looks good on me, right? It looks fantastic, brother. You know, Steve-O from Jackass is about to get choked out. So, anyway, Jake Ellenberger in the house. Up, brother? Oh, he's wearing the jacket.
He went and bought one. He bought the jacket that O'Malley was wearing, and he's rocking up. Brian, I'll send you the video so you can post it, edit it in maybe. Yeah, he went to the Apex to watch the fights in the exact same jacket that O'Malley had, which I thought was hilarious.
That's hilarious. That is the ultimate troll. That's taking it to the next level for sure.
It's pretty good. Marab is absolutely hilarious. Yeah, so Aljo's just causing controversy for the sake of it. Just trying to make headlines.
I think he gets bored too. I think he's
stay relevant.
Yeah,
I don't think he's going to get put on International Fight Week. Isn't that card set? I do believe it's
pretty
set.
Stacked.
All right, guys, let's talk about Manscaped, the world's leader in men's grooming, whether it's the face, the balls, the backside, whatever it is, the beard, they got you covered. And they got you covered with the Performance Package 4.0. It's got the world famous Essential Lawnmower 4.0, the waterproof cordless body trimmer, and it has a ton of other liquid formulations to round out your grooming routine. Whether you're trimming your chest or the treasure chest in your pants, this is the best trimmer on the market. It's got a ceramic blade designed to cut hair on loose skin and reduce grooming accidents thanks to the advanced skin-safe technology. You can even trim an arrow pointing to the promised land if you are bold enough or bit of a dick enough. Let's be honest, because why would you do that? But still, inside the Performance Package, you'll also find the Manscaped the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant, the Crop Reviver Ball Toner, an anti-chafing ball deodorant and moisturizer. And the free gifts don't end there. You will also get the Weed Whacker for the nose hairs. You know, nobody wants nose hairs, hair coming out your nose or even in your ears. Use it in your ears if you want. If you're that old, yeah, the Weed Whacker 2.0. You also get 2 free gifts, the Shed Travel Bag, $39 value, and the patented high-performance, reduced chafing Manscaped boxers. If you're wearing sandals, you need to get the Manscaped 2.0 Sheer Nail Kit. Okay, so basically, whatever it is that you need for your man, for your body, for yourself, for your boyfriend, for your dad, you want to get someone a gift, they'll love it. The Performance Package 4.0. Go to manscaped.com. Use the code Bisping20 to get 20% off and free shipping. That is manscaped.com. Bisping20 for 20% off and free shipping. Okay. Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, you guys don't know it because Brian is an editing genius. Okay. But Anthony's Nebraska, Omaha, Lincoln, wherever you are, Wi-Fi has just fallen to pieces. And you're coming at it now from the 1970s like a pixelated bitch. Okay. But calm. There's a smile. Anthony's been losing his mind.
I was so close to throwing this computer through my door. It was this close. It is the most annoying and frustrating thing in the world. So what we're going to do is, unfortunately, because of the Lincoln, Nebraska Wi-Fi, we're going to have to cut this one short. We had so many topics to talk about. And by the way, Jake Paul, did I mention what Jake Paul? He sent me a message to give me a crap. So he's come at me again. He's come. What did he say? In the time you were away, he goes, I'm 26 and I made more in that
amateur fight, then you made your whole career. Now you're on your nuts, gobbling Dana up. You don't have the courage to stand for fighters. And, and I was like, shut up, Jake Paul. What are you talking about, you absolute fool? I thought, well, did all that money that you made buy those super fast running shoes when you ran away from Floyd like a bitch? Oh, you big tough Disney guy pretending to be a fighter. Anyway, whatever. I don't want to lower myself. I just did that.
Oh, I would for sure.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. Now you're looking good, bro. You're looking good.
Dude, I got my wife going to, let me make sure that's off. All right. I got my wife already on the phone with the internet people, losing her shit because I just lost my shit on the phone to her. I was sweating. I had to get a towel and wipe my face off because I got the angry sweats.
But don't worry about it. Here's what you're going to do. When we finish this show, you're going to go to Amazon.com. Or in fact, you're going to scroll down on your phone. You're going to go to the app. You're going to order an LAN cable. You're going to be plugged in. You're going to be super fast, crispy, clear, sounding amazing. Yeah.
I already got it while I was waiting for this stuff to reload. I was like, I'm getting it now.
So we're sitting there suffering in life, and Anthony's online shopping. I get it. All right. So what we'll do is, Brian, we'll try and do a question because your Wi-Fi is bad. Is your phone on the Wi-Fi as well?
No, it's not. My wife said that all day her phone and her laptop have not been working right. So I don't know if
okay. That must be an issue in the area, just with your local provider or something. It's not the end of the world. It happens, buddy. It happens. Don't sweat it. Brian, do we have a question? By the way, if you have one, send it into bympod at gmail.com, bympod@gmail.com. Brian.
That's right. And use promo code BYM over at Gas Digital Network to get a 7-day free trial. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Do all the good stuff that Harrington usually says.
Yes.
Now on to the first question. We got Matty Fats here from Florida. That's where he's from.
BYM boys! It's Matty Fats from Florida again. Brian Harrington, Anthony, Mike, I love you guys. Love the show. Keep up the good work. Michael, I'd like to let you know the amount of enjoyment I get every time you mock John Fury. Spot on. I love it. It's one of my favorite things you do. And my question is for you, Mike. It's kind of personal. Don't get mad at me. I'm just curious. How hard and how long was the adjustment period to being a one-eyed man? What were some of the hardest things? Like, how long did it take you to start driving again? Fighting, obviously, with one eye is pretty extreme. What were some of the hardest parts, and what took the longest? And just what was the process? I'm kind of curious, because I can tell you doing this is a nightmare.
Nah.
Just doing that's a nightmare. I couldn't imagine it permanently. You're a trooper. I love you guys. Anthony, it's just one, buddy. You'll get them next time. The haters, you can either them or finesse them. It's your choice. Love you guys. Keep up the good work. Matty Fats from Florida out.
Matty Fats from Florida. Let me tell you something. No man alive could have adjusted the way that I adjusted. And no man alive. I got to stop saying no man alive. But he does say it a lot. Thank you, Matty Fats. We appreciate it. Next time, just back away. Back away from the microphone because you are coming through very loud. Do you know what? The adjusting to eye life with one eye, it was hard. I don't want to stand there and bang on about it because everything's in 2D. You know, when you have two eyes, it's 3D. My life is in 2D. Save your jokes. I don't know. I'm sure there could be some jokes. But, so everything just seems flat. Like there's a glass. Whenever I reach for a glass, a lot of the time when I reach for it, I'll miss it the first couple of times. I still walk into lampposts sometimes. I'll walk into beams. I walk into doors. I do because if it's on this side of my face, I don't see it, and I'm already a bit of a clumsy bastard. I was never the most graceful, you know what I mean? And so it's it's been hyper accentuated, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, no one wants to hear the sob story. Everything's good. Everything's happy. I'm fine and dandy. We're doing it, Anthony.
You got it figured out pretty well. I mean, you accomplished a lot of pretty good things with just one eye.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. Someone an Uber driver was asking me about that the other day because he watches the UFC and he was asking all kinds of questions. It's like, hey, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? You've moved to another country. You've just bought a big stupid house that you don't need. Your career's taken away. There's financial hardship. You don't want to go back home to England with your tail between your legs. Oh, couldn't do it, couldn't make it work. And I don't know, go back to regular life. I was like, no way, I've got to continue. I've got to keep trying to make it happen. Anyway, we did it. Everyone's heard the story. Don't want to keep going on about it. Anthony, what did he say? Either F him or finesse him?
Yeah, fuck him or finesse him. So,
fuck him or finesse him. What does that mean?
I think
throw him in the furnace?
No, I think it's like just
no finesse, like be smooth.
Oh, finesse.
Yeah. Fuck him or finesse him. I like that.
Oh.
But right now, fuck him.
Yeah, that's right. I'm on board with the effing them as well. You know what I mean? YouTube doesn't like the squares, though. YouTube.
I know. I've been trying to do a better job. I've been trying to do a better job and not cussing.
Do better.
I'm trying.
No.
I'm the worst for swearing. But thank you, Matty Fats. We appreciate you, brother. Brian, what else we got, mate?
All right, we got one here from Liam Kinnear, coming from a beach down under.
What's up, BYM Pod? Liam back with another question. My question is there any place in the world you guys haven't been to yet that you would like to visit? Maybe like somewhere you've seen in a movie or just somewhere you haven't been before? Coming to you, Southwest Rocks, New South Wales, Australia. Beautiful little spot in the world. So if you're ever in New South Wales, Australia, come check it out. Keep up the good work, guys. Catch ya.
All right. Anthony Smith, one place in the world you are yet to visit that is on the bucket list. What would it be?
Thailand. We've talked about this a couple times. I want to do Thailand. I'd like to do Japan too.
Yeah, you took my answer. It was going to be Japan. I mean, Thailand's amazing. It really is. The people, the culture, the food, the weather. You know, when you get into the big city, Bangkok, you know what I mean? It's a fascinating city and with every type of walk of life, if you will, but it's also very, very depressing, very sad. You know, like any big city, you know what I mean? There's big cities have big problems, you know, and a lot of poverty as well. You know, when you're in Bangkok or the suburbs, if you will, you're really hit by the disparity in life because you walk past one like huge, gigantic mega mansion, and then next door to it, people just living in absolute squalor. You know, and there's people bloody no legs and stuff like that, begging, and you know it breaks your heart, you know. And of course we have that in other parts of the world as well. There's kids everywhere and they're begging and they're saying they're hungry, you know. And I got told off once because, you know, I'm a sucker. If it's a kid and they're begging and they're saying they've got no money for food, I mean, geez Louise, come on. So you give them a very small amount of money. But then somebody like kind of had a word with me and said, Michael, you can't do that. You cannot give to those kids because it's a scam. Because they're all part of like a gang and they're given some, I forget what the drug was called. They're on a drug and they're forced to come out and to beg, and they don't use that money for food. They bring it back to the drug dealer who gives them a little bit more of that drug, and it just, what you're doing is perpetuating a vicious cycle. I'm like, I get it, but like I can't not.
Yeah, you have conscious that you're a human being.
Yeah, but it's a beautiful place. You got to do it.
I definitely want to.
It's amazing. The islands are incredible. Japan, yeah, that's one for me. Always wanted to go. Talked about it many, many times. Want to see Tokyo. Apparently, it's like going to the future, but I also want to see like the countryside. Want to go down to Okinawa. I've never been there, so I don't know where to go. But when I do go, I'll figure it out and I'll let you all know. And I'll talk about it like I know everything about Japan. Okay? Oh, Japan? I'll tell you all about Japan, but I've never been. But there's your answer. Thanks for the question.
Didn't we have a believer one time have a samurai sword in the video? You got to come back with a samurai sword.
I got Lucas the samurai sword for his birthday.
Did you?
I did. And it went down well. He liked it. You know, and then he was hanging bananas on the washing line and using the samurai sword to chop bananas in half and stuff like that. Might have filmed it as well. It was funny. Let's do one more. Anthony, you good for one more?
Yeah.
All right, so we got one more here from Ben Smith. There it is.
Yo, BYM Pod, submitting another question. So Jacob Zaski here from Pennsylvania. Do you guys think that the scoring judges in boxing or UFC will ever be actual fighters? Because we always see these controversial decisions like Loma and Haney, because boxing's rigged, obviously. But even like with UFC, with Volk and Islam, do you guys think that having fighters as the judges would give clear, obvious, better decisions?
Okay. Well, thank you very much for the question, Anthony. I'll let you take that one first.
It's double-edged sword. Because fighters, we all have our own personal styles. So you're going to get, like I probably would judge a grappling exchange differently than a lot of other people. Like I think if you just inserted all fighters, the judging is going to change for sure, but I'm not necessarily sure that it would be perfect. I think it would be better than what we have now, to be honest with you. But what I guess my point is I don't think that having fighters judge fights is going to come without its problems as well. I think that we'll get them right probably more often than not, but it's going to come with its own issues because Holly Holm is going to judge a fight differently than a more grappling based fighter, so you're going to have your differences. There's going to be its issues. I think it would be a better solution, but it's not going to come without issue.
Yeah, you're right. I think there would be some kind of, I was going to say personal bias, but there shouldn't be personal bias because the judging should be adhering to the guidelines of how to score a fight. But I know what you're saying. Like, for example, Daniel Cormier springs to mind straight away. He's a huge fan of wrestling, a huge fan of takedowns. And like probably in his mind, it's more significant when someone hits a great takedown. I think that's what you're trying to say. I'm not saying, by the way, that Daniel Cormier isn't capable of separating striking and wrestling and looking at it from an open mind, because of course he is. He's one of the best commentators that we've got. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. But I think with the amount of fighters that we've had come through the UFC, the amount of people that practice mixed martial arts now, and going forward, the amount of ex-fighters that there's going to be. You know what I mean? The sport around the world has never been more popular. There's more and more people taking part in it all the time. So there's going to be a lot of people with a lot of understanding. And I don't know if fighters are the way to go, right? Because fighters have relationships with other camps, trainers, coaches,
that was my
fighters. So that there's a slight issue there. But again, we've got to consider that they wouldn't allow their personal relationships to forge their opinions. So we're going to give them the benefit of doubt. But then on top of that, fighters can be mental. You know what I mean? Especially former fighters. You know what I mean? I love Diego Sanchez, but I don't want him refereeing judging one of my fights. I'm joking, Diego. I'm joking. But I think if you look at some boxing judges and MMA judges, because generally the commission puts the judges in place, it ain't the UFC, and it'll be the same people judging a boxing fight a lot of the time. That's boxing an MMA fight. And they just don't have the criteria. So not the criteria, they don't have the knowledge. You know what I mean? Who was it? Yeah. Who was it? Was it Eric Nixick? No, was it John Wood? John Wood, pardon me. He's married to Joanne Calderwood, or Joanne Wood now. He was saying, I talked about this briefly, some judges came to his gym and were watching. And they were watching training and they were rolling jiu-jitsu and they did not have a clue what they were looking at.
Right. Yeah, I remember that.
And then they left because they were bored. They thought, well, what's this crap? And they left. And they didn't have a clue what they were watching. So clearly, by that, there's some things to do. There is improvements to be made. But there's improvements.
Something needs fixed. I don't know what it is, though.
I'll tell you what it is that needs fixing. Your Wi-Fi, bro.
Oh, my God. I'm telling you, I'm going to have the crispiest, cleanest Wi-Fi when we come back on here.
Well, I can't wait. And I'll be back home. I'll be in the studio. You'll be good to go. We'll be rocking and rolling, toing and froing, bits and bobbing, getting the job done in. And we'll be back on Thursday with a non-pixelated Anthony Smith. Until then, you guys be well and keep smiling like a wide-eyed, white-toothed Anthony Smith.